Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channels. So as of now we have developed these Angular applications and we have configured these routers and we already made one form to store the data and send those keep this data and send this data to the API server. So our form is ready. It's now able to send the data to the server. Just we need one API. So for this we have to do work on that. So in this video I'm going to develop API so we can integrate those Angular application with our API. So both are going to communicate with each others. So let's start now. So first of all we need to understood like how we can develop the API. Okay, it's not a big thing, it's very small things to develop API, but really we have to understood. Okay, we need to understood. So for example, if you want to develop any API, we have some prerequisite. Make sure in your system having a JDK, make sure in your system having a Eclipse, make sure in your system having some database, then only you can do the further work. For example, if we started the Angular, so prerequisite is like Node.js have to install, npm have to install, uh, Angular client have to install, then only you can create the project, otherwise you can't create. So like that we have to do work for that also, and we want some prerequisite like Eclipse ID. So we are going to develop two API in this video. One is store the string data, okay, and second is give the list of the string data from the API. That's it. So for local setup we want STS or Eclipse, any one you have it's fine, or IntelliJ. For database we want Oracle or MySQL. So I hope you have, and JTK is a prerequisite if you are a Java developer. Okay, let's start now. So I'm going to use STS. Okay, if you are using Eclipse, so please, if you are not able to create a Spring Boot project, so you have to put one STS plugin inside your Eclipse so that you can able to create a project of Spring Boot. Let's start now. So I have also Oracle database and MySQL database, so I am going to use in this video Oracle database. Okay, it's fine, and STS ID. So I'm going to open my STS ID. This is my STS ID. Yeah, if you open Eclipse it's look like this only. Okay, now how you can create API means how you can create a project for API. So it's a very simple. You want to create a one Spring Boot project, that's it. So go to the file, new. Here if you search you are unable to see anything like Maven, Gradle, anything. So click on others, and here you have to search a Spring Starter project. If you search a starter, it's given a Spring Starter project. Click on double click, it's open new Spring Starter projects. If you are unable to see a Spring Starter project, you have to add one plugin, and it's required when you are using Eclipse. Then definitely you have to add one plugin. STS plugin you have to install from the marketplace. Where is the marketplace? If you go inside the help last button having a this one, I will show you. Go to help, go to Eclipse marketplace. If you are using Eclipse and you are unable to see this option, so go to here you can search STS, and STS any version like 3, 4 it's come, and based on that you can download, it will work for you. Okay, so I hope you understood. Here you can search STS and just hit enter. You got some STS version, you have to install this. So then after you are able to see here any STS like this one, Spring Tools 3, this one you can install. Okay, and you can start it working on. And once it installs, you can restart your system, restart your Eclipse, again go to the new file, new, and others, search here a starter project, and once you got a starter project, double click on this. Okay, click on this, click on next. You can see this file. So we have to develop one project. So I will give the name like project name, so a student management system, a student management system. I am going to use Maven, not Gradle. I am going to use Java 11, jar package, Java language, com.app, student management system, and description is CRUD app. Okay, com.app, it's fine. Go to the next. Now here you have to decide very carefully like which dependency you have to take and why. So here you have to make big decisions like how can I decide which dependency I want to take, which dependency I don't want to take. So many people are the confused here. So you have to know about what is the specific work of particular dependency, then only you can do the work in further. Otherwise you can maybe lag of some of the problems. So here you can see, here is the search button, you can search anything whatever you want. So right now we are going to use a we are going to develop API. So for API we need a Spring Web. So I mark this. If you are unable to see here, go to this place. Here you can search a Spring Web. You got a Spring Web. You can see. You can click on this, and that's it. Okay, it's coming here. It's saying selected. Maybe in our project have to some middle class, and those middle class I have to develop setter, getter, constructor automatically for only with annotation. So definitely I will take Lombok. So I will take Lombok. I want to run my project automatically. Whenever I change some class name, whenever I change some variable name, it's automatically reloaded. So for this I will definitely use a Spring Boot DevTools. Okay, so DevTools is used to reload our application automatically whenever you are doing some changes. Okay, fine. I don't want ThemeLeaf because we are using Angular. ThemeLeaf is like dynamic HTML. So we are not using this. So we can ignore this. Okay, don't use ThemeLeaf. So I will unselect this. Okay, now we have to decide you want to use MySQL drive or Oracle driver. So right now in our case I am going to use Oracle driver. To select Oracle driver. So Oracle driver and your application have to communicate with each other with the help of JPA, a Spring Data JDBC, a Spring Data JPA, Hibernate, simple JDBC. So many things is there, but I am going to use JPA because this is the very easy to maintain everything. So this much API I required to develop API. Okay, yeah, REST API you can say. Once you selected everything, click on next, click on finish. It's take some time and it's created project for you. You can see in the bottom, import getting a started content 26%. So this will created one project for us. Inside the project we are going to create one REST API, and those REST API have to do work for us. So lots of the things we have to do. Okay, so as of now we understood like how to create a project for REST API and a Spring Boot, we can say both are same. Both are same. Apart from this, we need to understood how it's work, how it's communicate to each others, and when and where we have to do the operations. So for this we need to understood this structure of this project, how we can understood. We have some certain way to understood this also. Let's finish this. My net is slow. Whatever dependency you added, based on that he downloaded all the jar. You no need to go to the Googles and download jar and attach with our project. It's automatically happen whenever you add the dependency. So this is the benefit for the programmers or developer to add just dependency. No need to add anything. Automatically jar will taken by our project. It's saying downloaded source and Java DOS. Okay, fine. Go to our project. You can see this is the structure of our project. We need to understand where we have to write the code. So you can see this is the pom.xml. Whatever dependency we added right now, before that, all are the available inside this. We are using the Maven project, so that's why he given some Maven file. This is the target. Whenever you run your project, it's generated some var file, jar file. So it's available in the target. SRC, your personal code, whatever you write for the REST API. Target generated code, target generated annotations, Maven dependency, all are available here. JRE system library, we are using Java SE 11. And if you want to write some test cases for our controllers, you can write inside this SRC test Java. SRC main resources, inside this you can configure your Oracle database, or you can change your port number. Other application also, like if you want to communicate your application with some other application, so you can add those configuration here also. For examples, I want to take something from the Git or GitHub. So definitely I have to give the path of this, and we can access through the path those data. For examples, I want to communicate with the Oracle Cloud, Amazon Cloud, Google Cloud. So definitely I have to use here the path, and then I will communicate with this. So this is the technique, and this is the better place where you can easily add your path. You can change so many things. Okay. So I'm going to configure our application in this application.properties files. So let's first add the port numbers, because okay, so automatically. So you just write port, it's given server.port. You can give your any favorite port number. Okay, it's done. Now you have to communicate with your database. Whatever you have a local database, you have to communicate with this. Then definitely you have to give the specific like user ID, password and database path. So that's why he connected with this. So I will give like URL. So URL is nothing but data source URL, Spring data source URL. I will take this one, spring.datasource.url. Okay, I will take username, spring.datasource.username. I want password, so I write password, spring.datasource.password I want. Where is the data source? This is the data source, but remove this one, password. Okay, fine. So if you know, it's good. If you don't know, you have to remember this. Okay, for example, I want to give the path of this. My database username is Prince, 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 and password is also Prince. So I will give in both same. If you open my MySQL, this is the MySQL. Run SQL command line. So connect Prince, this is the username, and Prince, this is the password. It's connected. So like that you have to test also. And this password, user ID password I given to our application. I want to give path also. So one more things I will check. Student management. A student management system. This table is available or not. So this table is not available, so I will give this name also only. Okay, so go to our application here and give the path. So path is like JDBC colon Oracle colon thin colon @ localhost. Okay, you are unable to see localhost @ localhost colon XE. That's it. Not XE. Localhost colon 1521 colon XE. This is the port number also. Okay, so our application is connected, and if you want to check this application is working or not, and this is connected with our database or not, so for this you can test your application. So go to the src main Java resources, and inside this having a by default one class, open this class, and here you can print something like sout and say something student management system project. Okay, once it is done, run your project and check it's working correctly, fine or not. Once it is working fine, you can go further and you can do the work on that. A Spring Boot app, you have to run like that. You can see your project is running good. It's connected to your system also. Okay, so everything is fine, no problems, it's running on. Okay, go further and do something. What we have to do next? Okay, this is the question. So you have configured this properties file, no need now, no need now, no. One more things you have to do. For examples, you configured everything. You want to create model class object automatically. For this, we have to write some configurations in a properties file. How you can write this? You can write like so the SQL command. For example, which command he created your tables automatically. So spring.jpa.show SQL equal to true. And you can specify one more things like auto. Spring.jpa.dda.auto, and you can configure here like update. So if table is available in your database, then it's not going to create new tables, and if it is not available, definitely it will create it. Okay, so this is the use of this Spring JPA hibernate DTL update and Spring JPA show SQL. So if you want to see the query, like which query he is using to create a table, which query he used to insert a data, so you can see those things also. Okay, now our application.property is done. Now you need to create API. How you can create API? So before going to create API, we need something like what can I say? We need we are not going to use service, because service is different things, DAO is different things. So directly we are going to use repository to communicate with our database. So I'm going to do this. So before that, we have to create one model class. So click on this, right click, Control N, and select the class, and here you can give the model. So this is the model class. So I'm going to change package name. Here I will give a student. Okay, so I will create one model class of a student. So here I am going to use model Lombok use. Okay, so I will create private int sid, private string s name. So whatever name you have taken inside this class, which class? Student.ts, like sid, sname, email, phone, same thing you have to take in your backend also, otherwise maybe you are facing some problem. So take sid, name, and you can take private string s email, private string s phone. That's it. I want setter getter for this, so I will write here @data. It's automatically generated setter getter for us. I want some constructor, so all are constructor. I want one no argument constructor, no are constructors. I want to change the table name. Then the table name is, I will give student management system. I want to make this class as an entity, so automatically it's make entity and automatically object will created for this. And I use dev tool, so it's automatically, whenever I save, it's automatically run. You can see here. Okay, done. And this one should be primary, you can say, or if you mention @ID, so it will become primary, so it's also fine. Okay, automatically will happen. You can see here refresh is happen. So based on that, he created one table, hibernate create table, system sid number null email varchars. So table we created, student project management printed. Okay, like that happened. Now we want one repository. What we want? Repository. So I will create one repo package. This is the model. Now I want to create one repository. So interface, I have to take interface, and this one is the repo. So I will take a repo and student repo. So this is the interface, and I'm going to use JPA repository. So JPA extend JPA repository, and in first parameter we have to pass what is the table name, I mean what is the model class. So model class is a student, so take a student, and model class ID is integer, so take integer, not a small letter, capital after integer. Okay, once it is done, you have the power, so annotate this also as a repository. Repository is ready. Now we can develop the we can say API controller. So go to the com.app, and one more thing, refresh your project, and you can see com.app.model is created having one model class, com.app.repo is created having one repository, just now we have created, and com.app having a one by default classes. Now we are going to create one controller. Controller, it means REST API. So this one is class. So I will class name is student REST controller, student REST controllers, and I will put here REST controller. Okay, so REST controller packages happen. Now here whenever you create any REST controller, you have to annotate this as a REST, so REST controllers we have to write here. Okay, now you want to create one API, and those are able to store the data in database. So you have to create one method, public student add a student, and inside the add students you have to take data from the Angular. So this is the response you have to take this data in request body student student. Now we have to return this, so directly I will save this return. So before that we have to auto add a repository. So private student repo student repo. You can see here. So we have auto add the student repo and we are created these things. Now we can store data in database. So student repo having a methods dot save methods, and you can pass your student directly. So this data is going to be insert in database, and for access this method we need to annotate this is the post mapping and parameter is student add. This is the parameter you have to take. So students is added in database. If you need one API, those are used to display list of the student in database. So you can write one more API, REST API, and here you can say list of student and get all student. Okay, import this. List is imported. Now here you can return student repo dot find all. Okay, so this is the two REST API we want to create in this video. @get mapping, because it's sending the data to our browser. So we can say slash student slash get. Okay, student slash get, student slash add, student slash anything you can say. Okay, I hope you understood. And otherwise if you use post and if you use get, so it's also fine. You can use like that also. It's automatically identify. Okay, and this is running on. Our API is ready. Our two API is ready. I hope you understood. Our two API is ready. But how this our API is understood? Who is called me? Who is called me for send some data and fetch some data, store some data? So for this we have to annotate this @cross origin origins equal to we have to give this path, your application path. So copy your application path, go to the Spring Boot app. Here you can give your path, so we don't require this one. Just add, and this one in double quote. Okay, so it's identify easily. It's running on. Okay, now you have to you want to integrate this, so you need to maybe change some path. So go to the stream service.ts. Here you given http://localhost 8081/student student. Yeah, it's fine. And you have to send the student data. Once you send it, you have to see this. Okay, let's try to communicate with this. So for this we need to run your application. So this is the 10 Prince Kumar. Try to register. He's saying student data insert successfully. It means data is registered. If you want this data given Prince Kumar, go to your Oracle database, and here you can see your table is created. Okay, perfectly. And now you want to see data, so select a star from system, and you can see your data also. So S email, S name, S phone numbers. Okay, where is the data, man? SID, S name. Some data is came, but we are unable to see. I don't know why. Okay, no problem. Do one thing. You can access your API with browser, and you can see the data also, because you already made one more API, na? So localhost, and here you can give 8081/student. So he will fetch your data in, so here. So here he given null, 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 because your data is not going to insert. Okay, so this is the problem. S name, S phone number, S email, S ID is 0. So we need to identify SID. Okay, why it's not going data? Before going to save, here you just S out and student.toString, so that we can see what is data is coming here or not. Okay, and now go to your Angular project, Ctrl+Shift+I, and check why data is not going. Okay, and one more time try to register. Data is going here. Sorry, unable to insert a student data, because this is the primary key. We need to change. Okay, go to the application, and here you can see some duplicate IDs. It's fine, no problem. But when you send the student SID, S name, S email, S phone number, all are going null here. 0, S name null, S email is null, S phone number is null. This is the problem. Okay, so how it's going to data, we need to understood. Okay, so at the rate request body student, we are sending data, it's printed data, request body student, post mapping, it's also fine. Okay, so as of now I think it's fine, it's a REST controller, he is able to. So just before I got this clarity why we are facing this issue. So issue is nothing but for example in Angular we have a one model class, okay, right, student.ts. so student.ts having a some variable sid, sname, semail or phone number. So we are sending this object exactly to the server, okay, and in our server side we already have a one model class, and those are also the same like whatever you mention in your we can say whatever you mention in your front end side model class, and you are sending those model class directly to the our backend. So backend should be, yeah, must be the same variable and same name, so we are not facing those problems. If you do some different kind of things, then definitely you get some null value and data will be inserted but null. Okay, so avoid these problems, and if you want to do some better way, so do the our follow the some standard rule. So just before I change this one, you can see sid, sname, semail, phone number, same to same I make it in our model class also. sid, sname, semail, phone number, number, string. So like that you have to mention, then definitely it's work. Okay, so my application is already up, this one Angular application, and my server side application is not up, so I will do it up. See this, run Spring Boot app, and this is the problems only we are facing. Okay, and just before I deleted, drop this what we call table name, so drop table as ms system, and now I'm going to insert new data. Okay, so our application is up. Okay, backend application. Now I'm going to through the front end. So this is our front end. Okay, here I'm going to use some ID like to name is Prince Kumar, and student email is like pk22@gmail.com, and phone number is nothing but 7415520049. so this is my phone numbers, and I try to register this student in my database. Okay, it's not a big task, we are doing CRUD operation and it's very easy also. We can see here student data inserted successfully, it means this student is inserted. Okay, and once it is inserted, go to your Oracle and just select this command. You can see ID is 2, pk email ID Prince Kumar, this is the data. If you want to store one more student, just refresh it, give it 1, student name is Alok, email ID is ak@gmail.com, and phone number anything whatever you wish. You can see student data inserted successfully, and data is inserted. So this is the one of the student form, yeah, we can say add a student form, and through this we are trying to update, yeah, insert the data in database through the Angular or our Spring Boot application. So I hope you understood in better way. Later I am going to do something better way, like once it is registered, this page should be redirected to the list of the student page, whatever you can see on your Angular applications. Okay, so in next video, yeah, in coming video I am going to develop those things, but as of now we just need to understood how our Angular application is going to communicate with our Spring Boot application. Okay, so let's take some times and I will discuss these things in a very easy way. For example, this is the one form. So in my Angular application, we have a one form called a create a student components. Okay, so we have a one HTML form. Say this. This is the one form. You can design these forms with whatever called whatever we have a CSS or Bootstrap you can use, and you can develop a decorated one forms. And once you develop the decorated forms, you just put some button, and once your form is ready, now we have to think about, you have to collect the data of this form and send this data to where? This one, create a student component.ts. Once you send in this place, and we already created object for this, so you are setting your form data, input field data, to this object. Once it is setted, you are going to call one service in the sense Angular service, and this student service dot student, and we are passing your student object. If this is we are doing subscribe it means if he given some response, it means data inserted. If he given some error, sorry, unable to insert the data. That's it. Go to the student. Here you can see this is the service. Service is nothing but this is the one of the, we can say, get, put, post method of the HTTP client. Through this we are going to communicate Angular with our Spring Boot application. So this is the we are doing work with the HTTP client. So HTTP client is a global format, and it is capable to communicate with our browser to our application. Okay, so this is the technique we are using, and here I have written one method, add a student. We are passing the add students data here in this method, and I have written observable of object and console.log, so it's print in our console browsers, and return this dot HTTP client dot post. So HTTP client having a get, put, post, delete, whatever method we required, all methods are here. Okay, and we are passing the base URL. So we already having this base URL. This base URL is nothing but our API. It means our Spring Boot application, and we are sending this object directly. So those object is going to the receive here in our application. So we have a one controllers, and we have already annotated these controllers as a cross origin, whatever browser will call with request. And once it is done, he called this one post mapping. We are going to receive the object, and once we receive, we are going to print this in this log, in our application log. So we can see here whatever data you send it, it's coming here. And what is to come, we have a already JPA, a student repo JPA, and through this we are going to save this data in our database. That's it. If you fire one more command, you can see the ak@gmail.com alloc and our whatever the information you given, so it's registered. Okay, so like that you can see and you can develop this application. So please don't forget to follow me and enjoy this tutorials also, and goodbye. In next video we are going to develop how to display list of a student, whatever students are available in our database. Okay, so let's try in the next video. Thank you so much for watching my video. Bye. Accept the data also.